Hello, welcome back guys to Camp Puzzle 1 here. We are going to jump into an Inkscape tutorial. Today I am going to be designing a spine for Metroid Dread. This is for the Nintendo Switch. As you guys can see, it is a red background with white text, and I'm going to be doing a custom spine for a client. So let's go and get started. Real quick, as you see, I've already opened up Inkscape. This is kind of the landing page that you start with. For what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using desktop 1080p. This will be a 1920 by 1080 pixel, so we'll go ahead and do this. So the first thing we need to do is set up our page. So what you're going to do is go over to this little arrow here, and you'll see Document Properties. Click on that. And we're going to go under custom size here. So the custom size we're going to be working with is in millimeters. We're going to go 10 millimeters wide and then 160 millimeters high. And let's make sure this unit is on millimeters. Let's do that again. 10 millimeters wide and then 160 millimeters tall. This will give us our spine here. Let me make sure this is zoomed in so you guys can, we'll do about, let's say like 135%. Should be, there we go. All right, so this is the workspace that we'll be working within, and to put this spine together, we're going to need to have a few assets. So in terms of branding, we'll have to have the Nintendo Switch logo. What I will be doing today is using the Nintendo text logo and the Joy-Con logo for the Nintendo Switch. So let's first go grab those real quick. We're going to go under Google, and I'm just going to type in Nintendo logo. If I can spell logo. Well, I think this is fine right here. This is a transparent PNG file, so we'll just go ahead and right click this, save image. We'll just hit save there. All right, so let's go back into Inkscape here. So now we're going to go under file, import. This is the Nintendo logo. So we're going to go ahead and since this is a PNG file, we can resize this. We're going to go ahead and click on it so that we can shrink it down. I'm holding Control and I'm just dragging to shrink. That way we don't stretch it out. And the next thing we're going to do is make this into a vector so we can scale it and not lose any clarity. So the first thing we'll have to do is go under Path, go under Trace Bitmap. We're going to keep under Single Scan, keep under Brightness Cutoff, keep the threshold at 0.450, and we're just going to click Update. That's going to give us our little preview here, hit Apply, and we have our logo. So we'll just drag this off of the original PNG file. We can now delete the PNG file here. And now we have a vector that we can scale large and small, and it will never lose clarity. So Control Z. What we're going to do is make this vertical. So we're just going to double click it. We'll click it once, actually. Click it once. Oops. We click it once. You see that the arrows now are curved. We're going to hold the Control key and we're going to rotate it till it's like that. Then we'll drag it down, and I will bring it to about here. Holding down the Control key, I'm going to bring this down here, and we'll keep it to about right there. Now, to make sure that this is centered, we're going to make sure this is still selected. We're going to click on this Align and Distribute Objects key. So now, on this page, we'll make sure that relative to, we'll have this relative to the page, and then we're going to click on this Center on Vertical Axis button. And there you go. Now it's completely centered. Next thing we're going to do is get the Switch logo. So let's go to Nintendo. Fix that. Let's go to Switch logo. All right, so what we need is the Joy-Con logo. So we're gonna go with this here. Same thing, right click, save image, and this is a PNG file. This is what we want. So let's go back to our document, and we are going to go to import. We have our Switch logo here. Open. And we're going to do the same thing we did as before. We're going to hold the control key, scale it down a little bit. All right, go under path, trace bitmap, keep it on all the settings, hit update, apply. Got our logo. We'll go ahead and delete our PNG file here. All right, so now we can scale this down, holding the control key, scaling down. And I'll say about that right there is good. And we'll keep it about that distance away from the top. Go under the align distribute. We're going to align this with the center there. So scaling out, we have the Nintendo text logo and the Switch logo done. Now, what I want to do is get the Metroid Dread logo. So let's go there. Go Metroid Dread. There we go. And let's see what we got here. So let's check this one. This one's good. Let's save it. It's a PNG file, perfect. Let's head back to our document. Go under File, Import. Select it, open. All right, so this is perfect what we need. What we're going to do here, we're going to do two things. So I'm going to make sure it's still selected. So I'm going to go under Object. And I am going to actually, hold on. I'll go under Edit. And we're going to copy. And then go under Edit again and hit Paste. Because what we're going to do, we're going to keep the red for Dread, but then the Metroid title, we're going to make this white. So it's easier to read, because I believe the background we're going to use is going to be black, so then the lettering for Metroid will disappear. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a square, and it doesn't matter what color the square is. We're just going to drag it over the word Metroid, but we're going to make sure to not touch the word Dread. Okay, so now that we got that, we're going to click on the arrow. And then while holding shift, the square is still selected. So while holding shift, we're going to click on the word Dread. And now now that they're both selected, we are going to go to Object, go to Clip, Set. So now we just have the word Metroid. Now we're going to do the same with this one, but this time we're going to drag a box over the word Dread. So let's do that. All right, so we have that. Same thing as before, we're going to click the arrow. The Dread is still selected. We're going to hold shift, click on Metroid, go to Object, Clip, Set. All right, so now we have two separate things here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make a vector out of the word Metroid. So let's do that real quick. We're going to go under, it's selected, so we're going to go under Path, Trace Bitmap, keep all these settings the same, hit Update, Apply, and I did forget that, let's go ahead and delete this. So we deleted our PNG file. So now we have Metroid Dread, but we still have the word Dread here. So let's do the same thing as we did before. We're going to draw a box over the word Metroid. Make sure we don't cross over to Dread. Arrow, and then holding shift, we're going to click on the word Dread, go to Object, Clip, Set, boom. So now this is a vector file. It looks like nothing has changed, but now we can change this to any color we want. We can change it purple, pink, We can do red. But for our purposes today, we're going to do white because that shows up the best on a black text. So now what I want to do is get our image file for this. But before we do that, let's go ahead and see if we can fit the text on. So we're going to click on this so that it has the arrows that are curved. We're going to hold down Control and we're going to rotate this. And we're going to see if we can fit it on here. So let's click this again. And now we can hold down the Control key, shrink it down. And let's see if we can get this. And I'm just holding down the Control key and scrolling with my wheel to do the zoom in. So we're just going to make sure that this has enough spacing on each side so it doesn't go off. So that looks good to me. That's about good enough spacing on each side, and it's still big. So let's go to Align and Distribute after we select it. We'll align it, make sure it's centered on the page there. And now let's grab the word dread. We'll click it again, rotate, holding down the Control key. Okay, we're going to rotate it. We're going to click it one more time, and now we're going to shrink it. Let's bring this about here. Now let's hold down the Control key, zoom in. And I want to have this probably about a little bit smaller than Metroid. Probably about that's good. Let me make sure that this is okay. I'm just going to make sure that this is more centered of a square. And I noticed that this, for some reason, it's doing like a curved square. So you're just going to click on this second arrow here. And this is the Edit Paths by Nodes button. And you see this little circle here. You're just going to drag it up to this corner. And that makes it a sharp square. So now what we're going to do, let's put this over about like that. And we want to make sure that we're not cutting out any details, but we're getting it closest to the letter as we can. Okay, that looks good to me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold down the left button on my mouse, drag over so that I have both of these. Both of the letters dread and then the square that I just drew is selected. I'm going to go into Object and Clip. So now this is going to be a little bit more centered now. If I were to send it on the page, it looks a little bit better now. Okay. And let's zoom out. I think that might be good enough distance. Maybe I'll do it a little bit closer. Maybe about there's good for me. And I noticed that it's a little bit off center here. There's a little bit more space on this side than on this side of the M. So I'm going to just fix that a little bit. I'm going to click this, and I'm also going to hold Shift and click the left button on my mouse so I can select both, and I'm just going to drag this over like that. There you go. All right, so that looks good. Next thing we're going to do is grab the image. Let me scroll this over here. So what we're going to do is grab the image of Samus and also the background image. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's go to Metroid Dread, and then I'm just going to see if there's any artwork. Let's see what we can find. Let's go under Images. All right, let's see what we can find. Oh, let's go under, I guess PNG. That might be better. We might be able to find something transparent. Okay. So this will work. This is off of DeviantArt. So we'll go ahead and save this. This is our PNG file. Let's go back to our document. Go to File, Import. Pick our Samus character. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going, now that it's selected, we're going to hold down the control key and we are going to zoom it down. And I think I want to have it right above the Nintendo logo. Kind of where I want her to go, right about there. And I'm going to just center the helmet. You know, the things that are cut off, that's fine. I think that's fine because you just want to have mainly just her helmet, and maybe the blaster's fine. All right. And one thing I'm going to do to kind of make the whole design kind of pop a little bit, I'm going to take the color of Dread and I'm going to bring it down to this Nintendo logo. So let's select the Nintendo logo. I'm going to click on this Pick Colors from Image button, and then I'm going to select this the red from the A here, and it gets this bright little red color here. So let's keep that, and then I believe for the Switch logo we're going to keep this black. So let's do I got two more things I want to do here. Let's go back and let's see if I can find an image here that I can use for the background. Let's go Metroid Dread. Let's do wallpaper and see if we can find something that can fill the background that I can use. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so I like this right here. I think I'm going to use this, just this portion right here. So let's save image. This is a JPEG file. That's fine. We can go back to our project here. Now we're going to go to File, Import, and let's just use a portion of this image here. We're going to zoom out a little bit. And what I want to use is just this corner here. So what I'm going to do, let's make sure that our, we'll do a square, draw a square real quick. And again, click on the Edit Pass by Node. Make sure that this second circle is all the way to the top, so it's a nice sharp square. We're going to go up to this top area panel here and make sure it's on millimeters. We're going to make sure the width is 10. Okay. And we are going to drag it over here. And just the width. All we're worrying about is the width, not the actual length here. And just so we can make sure we can see it better, let's do like a bright green just for now. And I think it's at 25%. Let's do it at like 40% so you can actually see it. All right, so we're going to select our image and we're going to shrink it down just a tad so that we can get the detail that we're looking for. All right, it looks like that might be good. Let me make sure. Let's see. Right about there looks good, okay? So let's bring the square back, bring it up like there. And now what we're gonna do is select both. So the square is already selected. Let's hold Shift and select the image. We're going to go to Object, Clip, Set. So now we have this. Let's put this at the top. So this is gonna go right here. And then we're gonna center it with the page. And then we want the Switch logo to be on top of it. So we're going to go up to this top panel, go into, with the item selected, we're going to go to the third line here, and that's going to lower the selection by one page down. So let's do that. So now we're under the logo. Let's do it one more time. And now we're under the Switch logo. Let's see if I can do that. There you go. You guys can see that. So yeah, before, I'm going to just show you where it was before. So before it was here. And then I'm going to center it. I'm going to click this once, twice. So now it's under there. And let's make sure that this is aligned with the top here. I think that is good. Let's make sure. Little details like this really matter. Sometimes I'll zoom all the way in and make sure. Okay. So that looks good. Let's just make sure that's centered. Okay. So now we have our top half. Now all we got to do is make a black square to finish the rest of this. So let's go and do that real quick. Let's drag a square. Second key, we're going to drag this back up. All right. So now we're going to make this black. I believe it's at 40%. Let's go ahead and bring it back up to 100%. Okay. So now we're going to make this, let's make this 10 millimeters wide. Okay. And we're just going to make sure it goes all the way to the bottom here. Let's go to the bottom. Okay. And we're going to click this far right button on the panel to bring it all the way to the back. Okay. So now what we can do is drag this up. We'll drag it all the way until we get to the black part. All right. So let's center this with the page. All right. We'll zoom in, make sure we didn't overshoot, which we did. Let's bring that up a little bit. Right about there. And just to be sure, to make sure that this is correct, I'm going to go ahead and make the height of the black square 160. That way we know that no matter what, it's going to be perfectly sized and perfectly aligned with the page that we set here. So right now this looks pretty good. You have the Emmy creature robot that's in the game that is always constantly chasing Samus, and then you have Samus here in the foreground. I think to add a little bit extra, I think I want to add Emmy right here behind her, just to kind of like, because I know there's multiple robots that are chasing her, and I think this have like the actual Emmy right there, like right on her tail. I think that'd be good. So let's select Samus and bring her down just a little bit. We're going to still keep her centered and make sure that her gun isn't touching the logo here. I want to keep that untouched. All right, so let's go grab Emmy. Let's go to Metroid Dread, and I'll just type in Emmy, which I believe it's EMMI. We're going to do the PNG file. Could have sworn. Let me let's see. Let me save image. It's a web file. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my snipping tool. Is this right here? I'm going to go under mode, regular snip, rectangular snip. I'm going to drag a box over here. About that. I'm going to save it as Emmy. Oh, I think I already have an Emmy. Do Emmy 1. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and close this out. Go back to our document. Go under File, Import. And this is the file, the Emmy file that we just did. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go under the draw Bezier curves and straight lines button. I'm going to click that. And what I'm going to do is very crude. I'm just going to grab probably about, let's see, this much. So I'm going to click here and then probably go to about here. And I'm just going to trace around. I'm not going to like worry about being too perfect about it, because this is going to be very small on the spine. So it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect. And we're going to make sure we get a little bit of the arm as well, because when we shrink this down, we're probably going to lose a lot of detail anyway. So it doesn't really matter if it's not a perfect cutout. And it's not going to be noticeable either, because it's about 10 millimeters we're working with here. So I think that is good. Let's make sure. All right, so when you trace it all around, you're going to make sure you land back on the square and it turns red. That way you know that you've traced it out. So let's go ahead. I'm going to click on the arrow button. And before I take this out, before I cut this out, I'm going to duplicate what I just traced. So I'm going to right click, copy, scroll over here, right click again, and paste. So I have this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a solid, we'll do solid green again. Let's make sure that we go over to this X button. We hold down the shift button. We get rid of the black outline. So now we're going to make this about 40%. And we're going to drag it back over the image. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is cut out this little triangle here in the arm, because this is supposed to be transparent. We cut it out right now, that's not going to be transparent. It's going to have that little white background. So what I'm going to do is grab the Draw Bezier Curves button again, and I am going to zoom in, holding down the control button and scrolling using the scroll wheel. And I'm just going to trace this little triangle here. Okay. Make sure that is that. We're going to make sure we color this a color like red, and we'll hold down the shift button, click on the X to get rid of the outline. So now we're going to click on the green square, go to arrow. So we have the triangle already selected. Let's hold down shift, click on the green shape that we have here. We're going to go under path, and then we're going to hit difference. So you notice that the red triangle disappeared. So now we have a shape that has a triangle in it. So now we're going to bring this back over. And I'm going to click on this whole image. And hold on, let me make sure that. Let's get rid of this trace line that I did, because we don't need it anymore. So now let's bring this back over our image. Do it about right there. And as you see, it's not perfect when you zoom in, but it's okay for our purpose. So we're going to shift, select, object, clip, set. And now we have this floating robot husk. And what this is going to be right behind Samus. So let's hold down the control button, scroll down. Oops. Scale it down here. We're going to get it to fit right in between. And what we're going to do, we're going to click on this button here, the selection, one step behind. So now it's behind Samus. And we still want it smaller than that. So let's see if we can make it smaller. Right about there is good. And then we're going to raise it up just a little bit. So it has a little bit of space between Samus. And I think I want to bring Samus just a tad bit up. So we're going to hold down the control key so we're not stretching her. There we go. All right, and this is our artwork here. Let me make sure that you guys can see all that. This is our artwork here. Now what we're gonna do is make sure all of this is selected. So I just zoom out a little bit, make sure I have everything. Drag. So now everything is here, everything's selected. Let's go to Object and click Group. So now this is all one layer. Now we can drag another square. And again, click the second button here for the Edit Paths nodes to make this a sharp square. And then we're going to, just to be quick about it, we'll make the width 10 millimeters and then the height 160 millimeters. And then we're going to go to Align Distribute, click to center on vertical, and then center on horizontal. So now this is going to be completely over everything. We're going to select everything by dragging. And now we're going to go to Object, Clip, Set, boom. So now we have our completed spine for Metroid Dread. And once you print this out, you want to print it out on an 8.5 by 11, and it will keep all of the dimensions of this right here. So in order to do that, you're going to go to New, and you set up your document, Property, and we'll scroll over here to where it says US letter, which is 8.5 by 11. All right, so we got that. So let's, oh, and you know what? We can keep it, well, we'll keep it portrait style. That's fine. So now we'll go back to our old document that has the Metroid Dread spine. We're going to select it. We're going to right click, copy, go over to our new document that is 8.5 by 11, paste it, and we can use the Align and Distribute button here to align it to the page. And that way, when you print it out, it will be the correct size. Because most printers will print out 8.5 by 11 unless you want to do a larger tabloid feature, which will be, I think, like 11 by 18. But yeah, most printers will be 8.5 by 11. So there you go. That's how you have the Nintendo Switch spine. So this will be complete. When you're done, just make sure you save your file. When you save it as a PDF file. That way you won't lose any clarity. So go under PDF, and then you can just name it Metroid Dread Spine. And there you go. Go ahead and save it. So now that it's a PDF file, you can bring it to, if you have a nice printer, you can print it there and it will come out nice and clear, or you can go to FedEx or UPS and you can print this up and it will have bright colors and it will look great. So that will complete today's tutorial. Give you guys a better look at what it looks like here. So I wanted to make sure to have the detail of the Nintendo Switch logo here. You got Emmy here in the background. Metroid logo looks good. The Dread logo looks good. You got Emmy menacing in the background, and then you have Samus here with the little blaster shot, and then the Nintendo logo. Looks good. I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.